Good morning, everybody. You join me at about 7:30 on a beautiful autumn October morning. We're on our way to Bicester Heritage for the Scramble. So they hold the Scramble probably, I think it's 4 times a year at Bicester Heritage. And for those who don't know what Bicester Heritage is, it's an old airfield that they now sort of pretty much dedicated to classic cars. So there's loads of workshops there. You can pretty much get anything done there you want. So we're on our way there to the Scramble. They want a load of Esprits there because obviously it's the 50th anniversary of the Esprit. So like I say, it's about 7:30 in the morning. It's beautiful here. When I left home, it was dark. It was proper early. So one of the things that I did learn through driving this thing in the dark is, because I've very rarely driven it in the dark, the headlights are quite awesome actually. You can actually see something with them when they're on main beam. But anyway, let's get off to the Heritage, to Bicester Motion. It's about 10 minutes away from here. We've all got to be in by 8 o'clock in the morning. So my name's Andy, you're watching One In, One Out. Enjoy the show. So we made it to Bicester. It's about 8:30 in the morning now. We've got a fair array of cars from the Stevens cars. Looks like an S2 there, a turbo the same as mine, although a slightly earlier one. And you've got my car there. A lovely looking S1. I do like these. They're very, very pure. The shape of those. And this one here, an S2.2. That's a rare car. That's when they first put the 2.2 litre engine in rather than the 2 litre. So it's an S2 with a 2.2 engine in it. This is quite an impressive looking car, with a nice number plate if you're a James Bond fan. Stewart's S3. Very nice looking car. I think that's a relatively early one, 81, 82, something like that. And have a look at this one. This is the World Championship S2 to commemorate the World Championship in, 1978 was it? I can't remember now. But this is a commemorative edition. This particular one is number 44. So very nice looking car. They all put mine to shame a bit really. And then we've got another turbo similar to mine, but this is slightly later. So this is actually the high compression engine version. So they put these into the high compression engine into the latest, the last of the Giugiaro shaped cars. Looks very similar to mine, but has got the slightly higher output engine. And again, anyone who's in Lotus circles will recognise this car. So it's still relatively early here at Bicester, but so everyone's still setting up. But we've got a huge eclectic mix of cars. It really is quite impressive, really. The Porsches, and then there's the AMG Merc there. Jaguar Project 7. That was quite an interesting car. Harry Metcalf has one the same, I think. But yeah, that's quite an impressive looking car. To Lulu, the Citroen 2CV Bamboo. Love those cars. And if you want 2 cars parked next to each other that are completely different, how about this? So this is a Chevy Camaro RS350 convertible. But look at that, I mean, that is beautiful. Because people are still setting up here, so this guy's still setting up, but he's... Congratulations, sir. What a lovely thing. The mirrors are coming out so you can see underneath it, so I'm not going to get down there, but it's probably as good underneath as it is on the top. But yeah, two more different cars you could not get: the Citroen 2CV and the Chevy Camaro. And it looks like Alfa have got their own stand here by the looks of it, and they're trying to compare the beautiful Alfa Sud from, I don't know what that is, back 1978, something like that, and the Alfetta. They were both beautiful cars, weren't they? But they're trying to compare those with the modern electric Stellantis cars. So I don't know what you think about those. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But these really were a beautiful car. Unfortunately rusted quite a bit, but look at those two. So I said in the intro about all of the trades people that you've got here at Bicester Heritage, or Bicester Motion I think it's called now. So you've got the repairs places here, they also do Heritage Skills Academy engineering apprenticeships. So they're actually training people through a proper apprenticeship scheme. Young people, young lads and young girls, to actually work on cars in the old-fashioned proper way. And look at some of these. That isn't a real GT40, but it's just as nice. So Fab 45C, that may well be a real one. I'm not quite sure. And a whole range of cars that I'm not quite sure. But this is obviously an MG. Don't know much about cars of this sort of era. Triumph Spitfire here, looking good. And again, if you want something a bit different, this looks like it's a Mazda. So it's an RXE, so it's probably got the Wankel rotary engine in it. Let's just have a look. Yeah, so it's got an 1152cc 12A rotary engine in. The rotary engine still is an amazing piece of kit. The trouble is that in the old, like the RX-7 and those ones there, the rotors wore out very quickly and cost an absolute fortune to put right. But a really good engine. I mean, that 1150cc engine will probably be as fast as any 2 litre ordinary piston engine. So, and this is the MG Owners Club. Oh, we've got an MGB Roadster, but it's half and half. I'm not quite sure that this drove here today, but it's quite an interesting cutaway. So you can see the inside, or the inner workings of the MGB. And well, this is a Roadster, this one, because it's got no roof. That's quite MGB Roadster half. So this is a bit of automotive porn, I think. The Aston Martin Valkyrie. This was partly designed by Adrian Newey, ex of Red Bull Formula One, now of Aston Martin, obviously. So I haven't seen one of these in the flesh before, but that's built to be driven. So, like I say, Adrian Newey had a real hand in designing this car. So it has a lot of Formula One tech on it. And you look at the rear diffusers on there. That's going to suck it down to the ground. Not very usable in everyday use, but what a car. And for someone who likes their cars a little bit older, a blower Bentley. Don't know an awful lot about blower Bentleys. I just know that it's a blower Bentley. I think these are probably 1920s. If you know anything about this, just drop a note in the comments below. Let me know what it is. But you can see on the front, you got the supercharger on the front, hence the blower. So there we go. Sorry about the sun getting in the picture there. I'm in the wrong position really, but yeah, lovely car. Obviously raced at Le Mans. I don't know whether this particular one did, but the blower Bentleys did. Looks almost like you've got light switches in there rather than they're probably for the fuel pumps or something. And again, these are cars that you see very few of. The Ultima GTR 730. I'm sort of going to think that that's 730 brake horsepower, but it looks like it's got an LS Corvette engine in there. That's going to be a beast, isn't it? Let me know what you think of that. Next door to a relatively modern Porsche 911, and a couple of cars which, well, you know I'm going to like because they're Lotuses. Elise and Exige, I think these are. Pretty hardcore, almost track day car in reality. And then something completely different, a slammed. Now I think this is a Carmen. I'm not quite sure because I've not looked at it up until now. It's the first time I've seen it. I think it's a Carmen, but you ain't going to get much lower than that. So Carmen were a coach builder in the, I don't know, the 70s and the 80s, I guess, but did an awful lot of work for VW. So they had the Carmen gear as well, which was basically a VW underneath. Ah, here we go. Yeah, so it is a Carmen gear. 1963, small window. Oh no, that's another car that's for sale. Ignore that. But that'll have VW running gear. There really is such an eclectic mix here. This is the Porsche 928. This is a T-Reg, so I don't know, it's about 1978, certainly late 70s anyway. This is the car that was supposed to take over from the 911. So rather than the rear-engined flat six air-cooled engine, this has got a V8 in the front, water-cooled. Like I say, people at the time thought that the 911 was a bit old and they wanted to replace it with something modern. Now I think these are a gorgeous car, but as we all know now, 30 odd 40 years later, that didn't take over from the 911. And then next to it we have a Hyundai i20. Is that an N or an R? I don't know. N, i20N, and a Honda Civic Type R, both modern cars. Are they going to be classics in the future? I don't know, you tell me. And over the road here, what looks like a very early Beetle, obviously rear-engined, air-cooled, 1978. It was £2,600 in 1978. It's actually quite an expensive car then, back in those days. And anyone who likes 80s touring car or world touring car, I think TWR will recognise the name TWR, Tom Walkinshaw Racing. Still sort of going today in that Tom Walkinshaw actually passed away quite a number of years ago, but I think his son, I think it's Ryan or maybe the other one, actually runs it now or reset up the business. But that's quite an impressive looking car. So yeah, TWR. So you very rarely see one of these, never mind two, together. So BMW Z8 had a distinctly retro feel to them when they were brought out, and actually they were in a James Bond film. It was a Bond car, Pierce Brosnan, I think, and didn't sell particularly well. They were very expensive, but now they're very sought after. With their retro looks, I think they're a very nice looking car. I don't know whether I'd call it beautiful, but certainly a very nice looking car, very muscular looking. All left-hand drive, all with the, I think it's a 4.4 litre V8. This one's got the hard top on it. I don't want to get too close to it, it's don't want to damage it. But there's a couple of BMWs. Oh dear, there's a modern BMW. Sorry for those people who like modern BMWs. An old newer class, I think that is. K-Reg, that'll be about 1972, 1971, 72. And the interloper is this rather gorgeous looking Alfa Romeo. Beautifully proportioned, these cars. This one's looks like it's got some mods made to it. It's probably a resto mod, but it's all the better for it in reality, I think. Very nice looking car. And talking of Alfas, this is a modern classic, I think. Alfa Romeo 8C. This had, if I remember rightly, a carbon fibre tub, carbon fibre chassis. Beautiful handling. Typical Alfa Romeo inside, but a very nice looking car. Then we've got a 19, I think P-Reg, that must have been about 1976 Fiat Spider. This one looks in excellent condition, as they all are here. It's got a December 75 tax disc in it, which is it probably means that it's a 1975 car rather than a 76 car. That's when Fiat, or the Italians, really knew how to design really good looking cars. And you've got the modern version of Fiat Spider. This one is actually based on a Mazda MX-5, believe it or not, underneath the underpinnings. This is the Abarth version, which is probably a quicker version, I'm not quite sure. But Abarth usually means that it's a sporty version. But you can see in the proportions the likeness to the MX-5. And again, who knows whether these sort of things in 40 years are going to be revered as much as these sorts of cars. I don't know, what do you reckon? Tell me in the comments below. And here we have a very modern Porsche 911 GT3. This one's got a rather nice number plate of Le 24 Hours, as in Le Mans 24 Hours, I'm guessing. Well, I know it is, because actually it's owned by the guy who owns Omologato watches. If you've ever seen Omologato watches, they're sort of modern motorsport based designed watches at a reasonable price. Not that I'm doing them any advertising. I do have about 4 or 5 of his watches, so I'm pretty sure that's his car. So this is a really interesting car. This is a VW from 2015, so it was being developed in the 2010s, I should think, when VW wanted to do a car that did 100 kilometres on 1 litre of fuel. It's actually a 2 litre. It's a diesel, 2-cylinder diesel, with a hybrid system as well. And it did actually do, on the test bed, 100 kilometres to 1 litre of fuel. Very, very aerodynamic, really ahead of its time. If you look, they would, when you reckon they were designing this in the 2010s, the wing mirrors are cameras. Very, very aerodynamic. This one's actually for sale, but I don't know how much it's up for. Well, this is an achingly beautiful car. Now, I don't want to do it a disservice, but is it real or not? It looks real to me. If it is real, that is worth an awful lot of money. But whether it's a real Ferrari 250 or not, it's a beautiful car. So I'm just looking at it, and it looks real to me. If it's not, it's a really good replica. I suppose I could check out the number plate, couldn't I, and see what it's registered as. But it does look very, very nice. Again, sorry about the sun in the camera. And this is what the 911 used to look like back in the day. I'm sure they don't have as much crash protection as the more modern ones. There's a nice GT3 RS. These were a little bit widow makers because they really were a little bit of a handling nightmare with the engine slung so far out the back. But they're still going today, so they can't be that bad a car, and they've got a huge following, as we can see. So I said here at Bicester Motion they have a whole load of I was going to call them retail outlets. They're a little bit more than that, but anything to do with classic cars. These are a supplier of engine oils for classic cars. And then over here we've got Kingsbury Racing, so they've got quite a few workshops here. This one's the engine fitting shop, and if we have a look in here, you look at the facilities they've got in here and what they're doing with their cars. Nice BMW M3 in there from the 80s, and there's some more pre-war stuff at the back there. Can't see from here what they are. They look like Bentleys, but I can't actually see from here. But a whole eclectic range of products and services that you can get here. And then just round the corner we have Harry Fraser Vehicle Upholstery. This is the engine test house in there, but you can see their main line of work is vehicle upholstery. You see the sort of stuff that they do, all for vintage and classic cars. So, and here we have a Fraser Nash. 2CMD is the registration number. Again, I have to admit that I don't know an awful lot about these, but it is a beautiful car, and very, very nicely restored. This is outside the Pendine Hall. I don't know whether it's one of their cars. Historic cars for road and track. So I'm guessing these are all cars that are for sale. There's a beautiful Bugatti. Look at that gull-wing Merc there as well. A rather more modern Aston Martin in the background, and the amazing Jaguar XJ220, which was supposed to have a V12 engine in it. And when people put their deposits down, it had a V12 in it, but it ended up with a V6, 3.5 litre, I think, twin turbo. Now, I don't know about you, but this is what I like to see: a car in good used condition. Aston Martin, I think DB2. I'm not quite sure about that back end, whether that's original, whether that was a coach builder that did that. If you know anything about it, let me know in the comments. But it's a very nice looking car. But the thing I like about it is it's being used. You can tell it's being used. It's in good condition, but not concourse, and you just look at those wheels, you can tell that they've been used. I think it's a DB2, but I'm not quite sure, so if you do know, let me know. Yeah, nice car. So I've just come out to the main car park, and wow, this is the general car park for general parking. This isn't in the show itself, but you look at some of these cars that, you know, there's at least as interesting cars. A nice Alpina 3 C1 2.3. TVR. I mean, there's just such a huge range of cars here. Anything that you can think of is probably going to be here. Some British classics, E-Type Jag to MG Roadster, the German, and look at this Toyota Corolla. In hearing aid beige, you don't see very many of these. Not quite sure that'd be MOT worthy, but hey, there you go, 1971. So a Citroen GSA, well, pink MX-5. Wow. Citroen GSA, very interesting car with the hydropneumatic suspension. Parked next to Porsche 928 S4. Now this is a car that I find quite interesting. A Panda from the 1980s, actually this one might be the 90s, but anyway, 4-wheel drive Sisley. So they made these, this is obviously in right-hand drive, so they made them in left and right-hand drive, but these were a utilitarian vehicle in Italy in the 80s and 90s, cheap, go anywhere. Now they've got a huge cult following, so not many of those left, I wouldn't think. So we've got a lovely Porsche 944 Cabriolet here. I really like these cars, transaxle Porsches. Obviously with the gearbox in the rear, over the rear diff. I like those cars, but how's this for a pretty little car? So a Lancia Fulvia, I think. I think it's a Fulvia. I said earlier in the video, this is when Italians knew how to make really, really nice cars. And then, how many early Aston Martin DBs do you want to see? This is another DB6. DB6 Vantage, very nice. And what have we here? This is a real unicorn of a car, the Citroen Visa Club. Now I think, without checking, I think this is a 2-cylinder. They did do a 4-cylinder as well, which was the I think 1100cc, but I think this is the Club was the sort of the base model, and that was 2-cylinder 600cc, I think. Don't quote me on that, so if you do know, just drop a note in the comments below. But this is, well, it's obviously been to the Festival of the Unexceptional. I think that's an awesome car. You won't find many in this condition anymore. They had a really weird setup. I don't know whether you can see through the window here. You probably can't. No, you can't really see, but they had like a satellite for all of the wiper controls and the lights and stuff. Can you see it on the left of the dashboard there? I'll try and put my hand in front of the sun so you can see it, but I don't know whether you can see it or not, but really fascinating. This is when Citroen did quirky and good. You know, they rusted like hell because they were a French car of the late 70s, early 80s, but this one's still around. Sat next to a Ford RS 2000 custom, and these things were 10 a penny back in the 70s and the 80s. You almost couldn't sell them. Now a good one's worth, I don't know, £40,000. Got a real following. It's a fast forward, isn't it? Along with a 2CV, which we all know and love. I'd like to own a 2CV at one time. This looks like a really nice example here. Very good condition. E30 BMW 3 Series. This is the 325 with a 2.5 litre straight 6 in, which is a glorious engine. Now these have really come into their own in the last sort of 5 to 10 years. Very sought after car, especially in this condition. This looks a very nice looking car. I think it's probably got the M Sport kit on it. Certainly got the BBS look wheels, headlight wipers. That's an E-Reg, so what's that, about 88, something like that. Yeah, you can't really see in there, but very nice spec, very nice looking car. One's in good condition now, very sought after. So I found a few Esprits outside of our little display in the car park, but this one is one I particularly like. The I forget what the exact colour is, but copper colour, as used in the James Bond film. Interesting fact about that, they used the white one in the early part of the film, and when they blew it up they changed it to this colour because they were going to be using it in the snow, and they decided that the snow wouldn't show up the lines of a white Esprit, so they changed it to this copper colour. But apart from the skis, it's pretty much the same spec as the Bond one. So there we go, Bicester Scramble October 2025. My thoughts on it? Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, it really helps the channel. So yeah, my thoughts, yeah, really good day out. It's expensive to get in, and actually the car park, the cars in the general car park I think are probably as interesting as the ones in the main display. The main display it seems quite corporate these days. I went to one a couple of years ago, and it seems a lot more corporate now. There's a lot more businesses there, and displays. Top Gear were there, and Haggerty are there, and those sorts of things. So let me know if you've been to one before and you've been to one recently. Let me know what you think to it. It's certainly worth a day out. The car park is just absolutely awesome. But like I say, that's as good as the actual show itself. So anyway, thanks for watching. As I said, don't forget to like and subscribe if you would, please. I know that 90% of my watchers aren't subscribed, so just the odd one or two would really help me out. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.